So let's go back before we get deeper into this mother thing. I forgot. We was talking about sex. So back to this particular thing. We're gonna get back to the mother thing in a second. But the post, going back to the post, it was a post that said, "Would you rather wash your ass, have great sex, have a lot of money, or have family? Which one?"
Why? Why did you guys do this to me? So I'm on a huge lunch kind of break, a huge lunch break, because I've been working for 8 hours already. So I wanted to come back to you guys. And the reason I wanted to come back to you guys was because, quite simply, everyone has reached out to me, and by everyone, I literally mean 3 people, to go back and finish the video that I was watching. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I made a video previously with these 2 people talking. This one guy went on Tasha K's channel. This is how I learned about him. And I went to watch a video and this popped up. So I made a video about it. This is part 2 because everyone said, Themis, please go back and finish that video. You need to finish the video. So now I'm doing it. I have not finished all of it. I'm going to watch it with you guys. But for those who don't know, a quick reminder of what the foolishness that happened previously, and then I'll get into the welcomes.
And we're gonna talk about sex in a minute, because you made a comment about great sex, so I want to go there. But one of the biggest issues, in my opinion, is this: in a Black community, Black women pander to other Black women. Have you seen that?
Is pandering like, see, I get confused with pandering. Like, so is pandering like kissing people's ass? Like, is that like, I don't like, is pandering like, you know, giving people bad advice? Like,
okay, pandering is this: say you got 3 baby.
Okay, so I mean, it's fine to not know what words are. It's fine to not know what words mean. All of that is great. But apparently, she does actually engage in the conversation, and she wasn't just there to say, yes, sir. She also agreed and explained how she agreed. I don't know. We're going to watch it together. I just had to go back. So let's, this is gonna be a mess. Let's start. Hey guys, welcome back to Themis and Thoughts. I don't know why I'm doing it like it's an actual video, because it is actually a live stream. I am doing a live stream now because I foresee the rest of my day being extremely busy, and I have a 1.5 hour to 2 hour open time. So I've just checked out of actual work, and I'm here to give you guys a video before I won't be able to. So I know for a lot of people, this is not my normal time, so I truly apologize. All right, that out of the way. The second thing is, I was going to take a break from YouTube. I decided not to do that. This was supposed to be fun for me. YouTube as an outlet was a part of me that I discovered where I enjoyed engaging with a lot of people, right? And so I like talking about politics and cultural issues. But I do realize that there is a race to become the best YouTuber and the best content creator and have the most subscribers. And it came to light quite recently that there were people who were mad at me, angry at me, coming after me. And it bothered me because I don't see myself as in competition with anyone. Honestly, if I've ever seen your content and I think it's good, I am the first one to praise it. I don't consider myself an expert or a leader in any sphere or sector on YouTube. I honestly just enjoy doing this. Now, there is a separate part of it where I do feel like I have a duty to speak on certain issues, because if I claim to be a good person, not a good man or the good one, but a good person, I don't think it's okay for me to see something as tragic as the manosphere and ignore it. Right? Like, so a couple of things. I am no one's leader in any way. And so I am not in competition with anyone. I do hope that makes sense. I don't want to drag this on because the context in which I'm having this conversation is sort of behind the scenes. I'm only putting it out now because I do hope that you guys understand that I am actually speaking from a place of honesty and what I believe. So much so that I have turned down every single sponsorship deal that I have been offered selling candles, because I think when we start adding money to the mix, things become iffy. I think a lot of you guys trust me a lot of the time. And with that trust, I don't think it's okay for me to do whatever I want. And because of that, I have turned down sponsorship for all the small businesses and everyone reaching out to me, asking me about how much to have a sponsored video and all of that stuff. I don't do sponsored videos. I don't think I ever will. This might change. I don't want to hold myself to a contract that I don't know what's going to happen in the future. But as of now, I do not see myself doing that kind of work. Even when the business is for empowerment of Black women, I just don't feel comfortable selling to my audience. That's just that. And I know this person is watching because they referenced my video and talked about it too. There was also a documentary about Black women's experience, and I politely declined commenting on that because, again, I think there are people on YouTube larger than me and even smaller than me that are better equipped and better situated to contribute to those in a way, right? So I am not saying this only to highlight that I'm not taking money. I'm saying this because I want you guys as the audience to acknowledge at least what I've said and to hold me accountable. At any point where I am doing something that seems odd, please let me know, because I do think it's the way that this platform has grown requires a continuous conversation between myself, a cis man, cis, again, and you all who are mostly women. I do think it. I think that the interaction requires constant care, and I am willing to do my part. Obviously, do yours, even if that means leaving, right? But I do think you should hold me accountable. I will point out something. L, for example, always messages me on Instagram, and we have conversations. Nothing, obviously, you say to me will ever be public, but it's nice and refreshing to know that there are people who are saying, hey, this is happening. If you want to cover it, this might be a backlash, or this might be a whatever, right? So I do appreciate that. I wanted to do this now because I saw in real time something really terrible happening, and I mean, I said to myself that could never be me, and I don't think it could be me, but I do recognize that I am now in a space where I have to be careful because my audience is a very specific group of people, and I do fundamentally care about anyone, even the men here, obviously, right, who have given me their time. And you guys also have given me an opportunity to speak about things that I generally thought you guys would not care about. So I made a video randomly about an update on a debate, and I literally wrote not content. And you guys still watched it, and I had to like private it because so many people were watching it. And I am free to do a lot of content, and you guys still watch. I love that. So all I want is your time. I appreciate your time. I'm grateful for it. Know that I am not taking a break. I was thinking about taking a break, but I have found after a lot of reflection the fun in doing this again. I found the fun in communicating again, and I don't want to lose that. So anyway, disclaimer done. Let's get into mess. Let's get into mess. Soft and Wet says, I honestly enjoy the convo, even if I don't agree with everything. Thank you. And no one should, if you hear me and you are like, I agree with every single thing he says, I think you should look harder and maybe find places to disagree, because I do think it's okay to disagree. And I don't want the first time we disagree to be on like a huge topic that is just destroying the community. All right. Cool. Thank you, by the way, Soft and Wet. And this is why I roll with Themis. We appreciate you and only follow one other male on YouTube. Yeah. That became a YouTube. Oh, welcome. This is my dance. Yeah. I welcome everyone. By the way, thank you. This is a random time. I won't have time to edit or do anything to the video and upload. So this is why I decided to come live. All right. We are about to watch this man. He's a new YouTuber. He's talking about becoming a coach, and he is teaching people about attachment styles. Now, a couple of things I want to note before. If at any point this gets boring, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to let you know that I'm going to stop. I found my mud water sifter, and I will be reviewing this mud water and how horrible I think it is in place of doing this video, and then I'll private it. Because I'm not here for the foolishness. So let's start. Please don't get mud water. I don't like it at all. I absolutely do not like mud water. By the way, before I continue, let me say this before I get sued. The CRFA allows for critique of products and things that we use based on our own experiences. And so I am criticizing, if I do criticize mud water, under these rules. So you can sue me if you want. I think the mud water is disgusting. All right, let's start. I don't know why I bought into the hype. Oh, what is mud water? I am so happy you asked. This is mud water. I got caught up in pictures, and I thought this was a beautiful picture. So I wanted to try mud water. I bought it. I bought a ton of it, like a lot of it. And now I'm stuck drinking something that I find absolutely disgusting. So that. All right, let's continue. So when we last saw Mr. Let Go, he was talking about how Black women are the biggest enemy to Black women. Now, we, the general public, said, sir, I think you're defining the word enemy improperly, because enemy implies someone who have malintent and engage with people in a way that is destructive to the other person. So when you say Black women are, right, the biggest enemy of Black women, we are going to need some receipts. We then went to find these receipts, and what we found was that, well, if we're going to cast a group of people as the enemy in the contemporary society, it will not be Black women. Black women are not the enemy of any group of people, as they are not inflicting any kinds of trauma on groups of people. Now, kids come up and, well, I put the blame on the absentee father and not, absolutely not, on the one who stayed. So here we go. This is where we are. We have been situated. And so you guys said, Themis, you cannot stop the video there. You have to finish that video with that lady. And so we're here with the lady. Let's finish it together. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So a sip of mud water. No, absolutely not. Do not get this.
Has to go, right? And a lot of women said, family has to go, right?
Mhm.
And then you had made a comment about sex. You just like, what did you say about sex? You remember?
I think I was saying something pertaining to the fact that
Family is more important.
it doesn't have as much value because
Yeah.
it doesn't have any real, it doesn't add value to your life. Sex doesn't add value to your life. It's an activity that you do.
Yeah.
Family adds value to your life. Money adds value to your life. Cleaning yourself is self-care, so it adds value to your life. So I instantly picked, well, sex can go because everything else makes my life better.
Yeah. So you said sex can go, right?
Yeah.
So I want y'all to think about the significance of sex can go, because this is really deep. I actually have never heard a Black woman say this before. So let's delve into this, and then we're going to get back into the mother thing. She said between washing, money, family, and good sex, she said good sex can go. Here's what's crazy. What is good sex without family? Meaning, you can have good, that means you're out here having good sex with random people because the person isn't your husband.
Right.
So in other words, all these goofy ass women who are saying, oh, well, get rid of family, that means you're okay with having great sex with just dudes instead of having.
All right. First, not all women are straight. Let's get that clear. Second, good sex does not mean you're promiscuous. It might mean having good sex with one person. Third, if you are putting out a survey, anyone will know that this is absolutely not helpful at all if people are saying family can go, because ultimately you did not define family, right? And in most people's mind, right, when you say family, they include the children, right? Like a husband and wife alone can be a family. But a lot of people, when you say family can go, what they're saying is, maybe I don't want to have children. So if you have the option of having sex and no children, then a lot of people choose that because some people don't want to have children. Again, it could be the case that people are saying they would not want a family and still be able to have intercourse, right? Like, that could be the case, and it might well be. I don't know. But what I am saying is, you don't know either. When you say family can go, you're not necessarily saying anything about a dislike for family and preference over sex. It might be a kind of family. It might just be children. It literally might just be children. Not saying this is good or bad. I'm just saying, hey, you don't know. Yeah, and maybe the woman don't want marriage, right? Oh, by the way, based on the Jordan Peterson conversation that happened on the roommates and all the stats that came out, I think this year, it seems like men are in a crisis. And this idea that men who are single are more prone to behave in criminal conduct, to behave in criminal ways, that is, engage in criminal behavior, increases when men don't have women. So I think there is a male crisis in that they are not getting the kinds of attention, female attention they have. And this makes sense why the atmosphere is ripe for the manosphere.
An intact family and having good sex with your husband.
Right. Yeah, that's basically what they're saying.
Think about it. Great sex,
No.
no family, meaning you're
No
having
real connection.
random dudes go run up in you.
Mhm.
That's
Again, this is not the case. Literally not the case. You ask questions here without clarifying what these questions mean. People answer with their own subjective understanding of the question, and you are making judgment. If someone say they quote want good sex, it does not mean that they're going to go around and sleep with a bunch of people to have good sex. It could mean that they have one person that they do engage in this quote unquote good sex with. It does not actually mean that they're being promiscuous, but even so, they said they don't want family, and so
kind of crazy, right? So,
It's a big red flag.
but you said you
oh, thank you. Tasha K did an interview with this man, and he not only admitted to divorcing his wife, he admitted to cheating on his wife, right? The wife is now left to raise his children with another man who did come in, and she got remarried. So yes, this is a man who cheated on his wife multiple times, and he admits it. He then leaves, and she is now remarried and built her life back up, assuming it was broken down. I don't know. I don't know the wife. He admits this. And now he, the person who is now a divorcee and not married, and left his wife a single mother, is now out here telling you how to be better. So just let that sink in for a moment. He said he's different from Derek Jackson in that he doesn't teach women how to get men, but he also admits that he teaches women how to get husbands later. He also, this is not a dragging session. Let's continue. Let's continue, because honestly, if you guys want to go listen to this man and let him teach you how to be better women, I mean, I can stop you. I won't stop you. It's just, I don't know how he doesn't see how broken he is, but let's continue. By the way, by adding oat milk, by adding oat milk to mud water and adding a lot of honey, it tastes a lot better. Almost like a hot cocoa with like a bunch of seasoning like chai in there. So yeah, no, it's not that great. It's not.
you're abstinent or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. And
What's
you
the thing?
go ahead.
I think that if I try to stay out of the business of telling women that that they should do something. I don't like telling women they should do something.
I never
because
say what women should do.
what's right for
Yeah, I agree.
one person is not right for some. But I think stepping back and evaluating what type of value are you adding to your life based on your actions. So if your sexual interactions are not from somebody of substance that adds value to your life, I'm not saying.
Let's ignore these two for a minute. Noble says, Stevens, let the mud water go. I refuse. I will come up with a recipe that makes it good, and I will figure it out. At some point, until then, I will be suffering, and you guys will be knowing, because I spent way too much on mud water. By the way, I have a deviation at some point. Oh my God, piece of candy. Hey, welcome back. We miss you. I have problems with this lady, a lot of problems, but I'll explain at some point. Someone said, sugar and cinnamon. All right.
Gonna last forever. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be 2 minutes, but if you're evaluating that situation and where sex is involved and it's not adding anything of value to your life or uplifting you in any way, interacting with this person, then that's not really someone that you should be having sex with.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And if you find yourself, maybe bumping into bad guy, it doesn't mean, oh, well, maybe I should give a bad guy a try. No, maybe you should maybe there's a reason that you're attracting these types of men, and you need to step back and evaluate it.
At the end of the day, if you're only attracting crappy men, it's because you're a crappy woman.
Exactly.
And you don't want to come to grips with you being a crappy woman or a crappy mother.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, crappy people are attracted to other crappy people. But you might have just this what is it? You can imagine whatever you want to imagine. You can act like things aren't actually happening, but they really are,
mm-hmm.
right? So you can act like you're not this crappy person all you want to, but that's not going to change the reality. See, you have two things going on. You have the real reality, then you have your own reality, right? So sometimes you are so stuck in your own reality that you formed due to your traumatic episodes in your life. See, when you were traumatized at whatever age, your brain went into a safe place inside of your brain, right? So your emotions went to that safe place also. So you actually have a different reality that isn't normal reality, because that's where you go to feel safe. Because in your own reality, guess what? There's flowers and bunny rabbits jumping around and dancing around in meadows, and you feel like, I like this world. I wish the rest of the world was like this. And then you go back to normal reality, and you're like, ah. So the problem is.
So, by the way, I did take Psychology 101 in undergrad, so I am definitely the person to talk about this. Joke. We do have the moments where we have traumatic response to trauma, and a lot of people, well, there's a ton of response to trauma. All I'm saying here is that you are not qualified, sir. Neither am I, right? Even with my even with my one semester of Psychology 101, we are not qualified to diagnose through the media a group of people regarding their trauma and their trauma responses. I don't know why you think you can do that. He said he's not a psychologist, so I don't know what he's doing here. I literally don't know what he is doing here, but keep going. Go off, sis. Someone said, what is mud water? Mud water is a bunch of things. What it's not is good.
When you are stuck in your own reality, you don't realize what you are actually doing and how you're actually interacting with the world, i.e. damaging your own child, because you're in this alternate reality and you don't think. So virtually every Black woman, I don't know about white people, so I don't know. Virtually every Black woman thinks she's a good mother. But most of y'all aren't good mothers, because if you are a good mother, how did you learn how to be a good mother if your mother traumatized you and your mother wasn't a good mother? You know, like if your mother wasn't a good mother and your dad left, who taught you how to be a good mother? You're probably not a good mother, you know? Yeah. So the main woman that has traumatized Black women is simply their mothers. And for all of you who may say, well, these Black men, they're the one that traumatized me. Well, guess who raised them? The same person, the Black woman.
This is so good. This is so good. So we are going to excuse bad behavior of men by denoting it, right? Giving the responsibility over to women. So men might have traumatized you, but we're going to blame women for that because they raised the child. I've said this too many times, right? Adults should take responsibility for their action. You need to go get help, all of that, fine. But even if we're going to go and say ex ante, right? Like before it happened, why would it happen? If you don't have a parent, a father, for example, that shows up also. It is not only that you're taking, if you take the values of the mother that raised you, it is the absence of a father can contribute to sort of maladaptions in a child. I don't understand how this is not a part of the conversation. We are sidestepping the elephant in the room, or well, I guess this elephant is actually not in the room because they're absent. Right? Like, how do we miss that part? How do we miss the part where the absence of a father can contribute negatively to the development of a child? In fact, we can look to Louisiana, right? There were a bunch of fights breaking out in the school, and a bunch of fathers came together, went to the school, and the fight has all but ended. The presence of the father means something. Right? If you're teaching women how to be mothers, as he said, read the book, blah, 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 read the book and become a mother. No one is teaching you how to be a mother. Well, you might start having to teach women how to be mothers and fathers, because since you're not teaching men how to be better fathers and you divorce your wife and left your child, if you are not going to teach women, or if you're not going to teach men how to be fathers, well, let's just take it let's take it all the way there. For the children's sake, let's also teach women how to be fathers, because they're gonna have to not only be mothers to teach the child right, they're gonna have to also be fathers. And so let's do that, since the man has no responsibility at all in this relationship. Let's just do it. All right. By the way, it is actually really good for energy. That I will give them that. I have too much energy right now, like way too much energy. Noble Beef said, he says this all while he sabotaged and abandoned his own family. I am appalled. You and me too. Let's continue.
See, what's sad is that Willie Lynch letter and all this other stuff has put us in a position where it's men versus women and women versus men. So men don't trust women and women don't trust men. But who did we learn how to not trust the opposite sex from? Put it in the chat. Who did we learn not to trust the opposite sex from? Somebody put it in the chat. Who did we learn not?
I'm pretty sure what he's saying right now is women teach children not to trust the opposite sex.
To trust the opposite sex from. As we wait, who do you think?
Now, what are we like? Are we saying like slavery and stuff?
See?
Wait, girl, what? I don't understand why she's here. I honestly don't understand why she's here. I understand that he wants a yes man, but like I feel like he wanted her to say the mother. Like obviously that's what he wanted them to say, the mother, right? But she just went back to slavery. Now, let's see where he goes with this. Maybe he actually meant slavery, and I'm just I mean, he did bring up the Willie Lynch letters. Girl, I can't. Look.
Mother. Our mothers. Mothers.
Yeah, you're only raised by a mom. I was raised by two parents. I don't know.
It's cool. I got it.
I don't really know. Like,
That's good. That's good. That's good. But
I don't know whichever one you pick.
your mother. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, sadly, if you look at these men and you say they're trash, they were raised by black mothers, single mothers. You look at these women, you say, oh, what's wrong with these women? They're this and that. They were raised by their mothers, single mothers. So the answer to this is get therapy, get coaching, go do something, right? You've heard me in my coaching groups, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm a coach myself. I have a coaching group for women.
So you need to get coaching yourself. This is so bad. All right. I was laughing too much, so let's try to do this. He does not understand that the absent parent is to be blamed also, right? We can talk about who adopts what values, who teaches what values, but ultimately, right? So think about this. A child grows up, looks around him, sees that other children of other races have their fathers. Do you think that does not impact that child, right? It's not that people are growing up only growing up bad because they're just the mom is horrible or the dad who stayed is horrible. It could be that the absence of a parent might cause some kind of abandonment issues with that child. Also, separately, it could be that an inconsistent parent, which by the way, personal bias, I do actually believe that it is better to have an absentee parent than a parent who is inconsistent, whereby you disappear for 3 years, you show up for a month and then disappear again for 10 years and then show up back for a day. No, just leave so they can deal with that. But that's a personal opinion. However, this man does not understand that there is an if and when there is an absent parent, this could actually cause tremendous harm to the child. Like, I don't understand how you just ignore the fact that an absent parent could actually cause problems. Houdini Unchained send a super sticker. Thank you so much. Let's continue.
It's important for you to do something about your situation, because if you have never been taught how to be a parent, we learn how to be better parents, right? We go through books. There's a book called The Conscious Parent. We talk about parenting. We talk about all kinds of things. And it actually, not me, the group itself, the environment, the books that we read, the books that we go over, the content that we go over, it teaches all of us how to become better parents, better men. Well, I'm the only man in there, but it makes me a better man by everything that I'm learning also. And then I have my daughters. I show my daughters these books that we're going over so they can be better parents to their children. So at the end of the day, it's like,
okay, so is he married? This is an important question. No, he's not married. He was married. Now, the question should be, after he was married, why is he no longer married? Well, he cheated on his wife multiple times, left her to be a single mother, and then she picked up the pieces, actually got remarried, living her best life. And he's teaching women how to understand attachment issues, I don't know, and figure their life out. I feel like that's a job for his wife to do, or ex-wife who got remarried. If a woman wants to learn how to be remarried, not from him. Now, he is different from Derek Jackson in that his cheating occurred and he's honest about it. That's the difference. A mess. Let's continue. These are our leaders.
We'll go and go to college and learn how to do something, right? We'll go here and learn how to do something, right? You know, women love to say women are the most educated people, right? How many of you never read a book on parenting? How many of you never read a book on how to deal or understand men? The two most.
Oh, right. In other words, he's saying that his ex-wife made a terrible choice I think he meant by choosing him. Yeah, I would agree, because he did make her.
Most important parts of your life, you don't read shit about. But you'll go spend 3-4 years and 6-7 years in college trying to learn how to work for the white man, but you won't read one book or join one class or take one course or be coached by somebody to teach you how to be a better parent and how to understand men. This is how you break the cycle, because I'm not just here to just be talking mess about women. I see a problem and I have a solution. And if you're looking for a solution, under this video, you'll have an opportunity to, one, join my coaching group. If you don't want to join my coaching group, I have an emotional
Themis, you should get him on here. Actually, I wanted to put this out there. So a ton of people that I have reviewed have reached out to me and wanted to either come on here to explain themselves and debate me, or me go to their channel and debate them. I have declined all of them, first and foremost, because whenever I do live, if people come on and wanted to like challenge me, I always drop the link and everyone is welcome to talk and come and debate me if they want. So I don't know why you would need a formal sort of response from me to come on and talk about your points. So that's that. Separately is, I think there is a way to push yourself through the YouTube algorithm using drama. I don't want to do that. I am not a drama channel. I don't really don't get me wrong. I like looking at the mess. I don't want to be a part of the mess. And when the mess becomes too ghetto, I'm out. I can't do that, right? So the frequency for me is too low generally. And people aren't asking to have a conversation with me. People aren't saying, hey, I think you're right here, but I think you miss this point here. And so in the absence of any real discussion, I don't want to just have a debate to win or lose. Like, I create my own debate formats, and we have debates on this channel. One is coming up on Saturday at 6 p.m. Please be there. Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please be there. But I just like, people want to grow their channel, and even if I'm a smaller YouTuber, there's a way to use smaller YouTuber to grow your channel. I don't care to grow my channel using drama and like that. Like, I want to be proud. Like, I want to be proud of the community we're creating. I want, if we become a big platform, I want to look back and say, I had integrity. Like, I didn't just bring someone on that I disagreed with just to yell at that person because it's going to push me through the YouTube algorithm. No, I want to have conversations with people I disagree with, but I want it to be conversation. I don't care to be yelling back and forth with someone anymore. Like, I don't have the time and or patience. Guess for $9.99, he can teach you how to be a good woman. Right, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Can we kick him and run away, gross? Someone said, "Amen, Themis, a man with actual ethic." Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I try. So yeah, there have been. I realized that a lot of the subscribers are larger YouTubers, which, I mean, that's amazing for me. I have been requested. I think I have more than 30 collab requests. And I'm not just turning them down to turn them down. I understand how it could be meaningful for the channel, but I don't know, something, I don't like, obviously I would like to grow, but I also love what we're doing here already. And it's, I don't know, I would much rather stay small if it means keeping the ability to speak openly. So that's that on that. Love the integrity. Themis for president. Period. All right, let's continue. I literally don't know what these people are talking about. I don't think it really matters, but here we are. Trust your guts. Thank you. I will. All right. Yeah, I see a comment that I won't respond to. I hope so too. I don't know. Sorry. Let's actually talk about this for a moment. I won't do specifics. I think a lot of what happens on YouTube is not for the benefit of everyone else watching, right? And I see how YouTube can be I see how YouTube can be used as a source of income and a tremendous weapon for yourself to benefit. In order for you to monetize in the way that makes it sustainable for you to live on, you're going to have to do some compromising if you're wanting to do it immediately, right? It takes a lot of work, in my opinion, to do it what I think is the right way. And because of this, I see a lot of tricks, a lot of clicks, and a lot of people who will go the extra mile to get that extra push. And then there are some people who believe that if you talk about this topic or that topic, that they somehow have a right to tell you if they want to, and if you can or cannot engage, right? And so with all of that, I realize it's very difficult to quote unquote be friends with people on YouTube when it is so competitive. Like, I didn't recognize how competitive it was until, like, I got an email the other day, and this person is going to know who I'm talking about. And he was upset with me for saying that I didn't see anyone else in this space, and I honestly didn't. And part of why I didn't is because I didn't look. Like, and so this idea that I need to like kiss the ring or whatever is like, girl, I'm not gonna do that. Absolutely not. Like, who are you? I don't know who you are. I just got exposed to you, and now you're telling me that you own this space and I need to kiss the ring. No, I'm not gonna do that. And I know you can say my name, which is funny because if you do, you are going to only give me exposure. I just find it really disheartening that the message about pushing back on the manosphere is something that people want to keep to themselves. And obviously, you want people who engage in it to be honest. But to the extent these people don't give you a reason to be upset, I don't know why you're emailing me and telling me that you own space. Like, what? But I find it all kind of disheartening. Like it feels like these people aren't actually caring about the content. They just care about themselves being the voices in whatever sphere they think they exist in. And I find that really, really unfortunate. I promise you a couple of things. The first thing is that I don't need to be on YouTube. I do this, and this is what I remembered and why I'm so happy now. I do this because I actually like doing it and I believe everything that I say. So it's easy for me to like deny this or deny that or not engage with this or engage with that. And that's fine. I am usually not the one to sugarcoat. Like if I'm talking about Kevin Samuels, I will let you know I'm talking about Kevin Samuels. If I'm talking about another, I'm very good about calling people's name. I don't care. But the reason I'm not saying the person's name here is I think he came to me in confidence. He didn't say that, but I think he did. And I don't want him to think I'm using his name to get clout. Because no one cares. Literally no one cares. I just find that obnoxious that people would like the people who are supposed to be your supporters because your messages are similar are arguing with you about who is the leader in pushing back like that. Like Mahogany Pink, Themis, you have the best channel on YouTube, bar none. Oh, you're the look coming from you, literally coming from you. That is legit one of the best compliment. I'm probably gonna cut this out and blow it up in my. I appreciate you saying that. I also I don't have to say this anymore, but I absolutely love your channel. But I just wanted to say that, and I said it publicly for a couple of reasons. One, I want that person to know that I said and made a commitment to this following. And two, that it doesn't matter. Like, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't. If you think you're doing good, then do good, right? If you think someone else is doing good, then let them do that. That is it. So that's it. That's that on that. I appreciate. Let's continue. Oh, Mahogany is getting a ton of love, and I love to see it.
Attachment blueprint that you can actually buy right up under here, or you can set up a one-on-one with me where we can have a conversation about what's troubling you. But at the end of the day, you'll take the white man's course to go be something over there, but you won't, and it's not about me, but you won't take a course on how to be a better woman to your prospective man. You won't take a course on how to be a better parent to the child that you act like you love. But you'll spend 8, 9, 10, 18, whatever years to go work for the white man, though. So that is the reason why I think the black woman, the black woman is the black woman's biggest enemy, because you stay in your own way and you are the mother of all of us. That means the majority. I want y'all to think about this.
Not him mixing in a little Hotep speech, talking about you are the mother of all of us. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it because The way this conversation about you know what, let me leave that alone. London Link say I'm so confused. We'll talk we'll talk later.
If you have a problem with your Lexus, right? Where you gonna take your Lexus?
To the mechanic.
What mechanic though?
The Lex.
She's a couple beats behind. She's always a couple beats behind.
The Lexus dealership, right? So, in other words, you're going to see a problem in your Lexus and take it back to the origin, the place that created the Lexus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the same thing with you all. If you see a problem within yourself, you got to look back at your origin, and your origin is the person that raised you. Now, if your dad raised you and your mom raised you, well,
oh, I just realized something. Nothing I said just now was about the honest truth. Just FYI, I think I need to make that clear because I saw something come up. Nothing I said was about the honest truth at all. Yeah.
you go back to both of them because it's not just about women, it's about the person that raised you. But sadly, the majority of you guys only had a mother and not a father, other than you and a couple of you. But the thing about it is, until you are bold enough, until you are ready to take that journey,
it should not be that easy for you to just say, the person that raised you is your mother. It is true, likely in our community, but the fact that he said it and just like, I would say that, and as a man, I would feel a little sense of failure and shame. Like I literally would feel a little sense of failure and shame. Like most of the people who raised you are your mothers. It's like, oh, there should be a glitch. Like even if you have a narrative, there should be a glitch right there and be like, oh, we're the fathers. Whoa. Like, how do you say something like that and then go on to chastising them? Come learn. And the truth is, if you want to teach, if at the bottom is the welfare of the children, right? Like if the welfare of the kids is what you care about, then you would say, I need to teach women who are the ones raising their children how to be a mother and a father and do both effectively. Because you can just teach the woman how to be a better mother. It is not going to work to raise the child. Like it's not. Even if you're a super mom, like you don't get to decide when or if the child is going to have abandonment issues because you are not the one who abandoned that child. By the way, I used one of Mahogany Pink's quotes about leaving your car in a bad neighborhood and it getting stole. Obviously, yes, you probably shouldn't have left your car there, but ultimately the liability is with the person who stole the car. I did not remember at the time that it was Mahogany's quote, but I definitely did say I did not make that quote, but I just wanted to point that out. Again, choose better is great to say. I think it is a great thing and people should choose better. But if you are using choose better as a way to push back against women talking about their experiences with bad men who are no longer in their children's life, then you miss the point of where liability should be. And it is with these deadbeat fathers, these absent fathers. All right, let's continue. True Mystic says, I'm over these types of men and dash them way. Dash them way for 2021. Dash them way for true man. You have to dash them way. Not me out here gonna get canceled right now for the
back down your childhood trauma and actually confront, not in a bad way, in a positive way, your mother and sit down and have a conversation with her about what actually happened. You're not going to be good for anybody else. Because like I said, if your Lexus is having problems.
No, go back and confront your father. I'm not saying you shouldn't confront your mom. Please do. Confront your mom. If your mom did something wrong to you, please go deal with that. I think it is super important, period. All of it, yes. If you have abandonment issues, please go confront your father. Oh, wait, maybe you won't be able to find them. Let me stop. I will not let my head hurt because this is supposed to be fun. He couldn't hold a candle to Themis. They are nothing alike. Wait, who is Sophie? Wait, who couldn't hold a candle to Themis? You know I like a compliment. Where is Sophie? I can't find the first comment that you're responding to, but this is why I appreciate you, because you will stand up for me, and I appreciate that. Um, what did Sophie say? Who did Sophie compare me to? I want to know now. I want to hear the mess. No one is giving me the tea. Is it the tea, the mud water? No one is giving me the mud water.
You're going to take it back to the Lexus dealership. So if you're having problems, you got to go back to the person that made you and have a conversation with them. And guess what? Your mother is traumatized. Your mother is toxic. So I'm warning you up front. You go in front of your mom talking about you hurt me. She's going to say, I don't know what you're talking about. She's going to say, well, I did the best I can.
Also, these broad brushes. Your mother is toxic. Your mother is this. Your mother is that. Are there mothers that are these things? Yes. Can you broad stroke the way that he's doing? No, probably not. Deanne says, yo, starting early today. By the way, Deanne, I've been like perusing your channel randomly. Just FYI.
And she's going to say, well, it's because your daddy left. Or she's going to say, I didn't do anything. You're imagining all of this. So that's what narcissists do. See, for a lot of you, a man wasn't the first person to hurt you. A man wasn't the first person.
All right. Not a clinical psychologist, so I don't know why he's talking about narcissism, but I feel like the person who decided, you know what, I'm just going to walk away from my responsibility and pretend like it doesn't exist because it doesn't serve me, is more of a narcissist than the one who's struggling to feed the individual. I don't know why I think every single mom is struggling, because that's definitely not the case. But I just, I don't know why someone said to continue, because it doesn't actually get better. It just gets more remedial.
Person to traumatize you, meaning a romantic relationship. I'm sorry. So let me change that. A romantic relationship with a man wasn't the first person to hurt you. A romantic relationship with a man wasn't the first person to traumatize you. A romantic relationship with a man wasn't the first person that gaslighted you. The man that was a narcissist in your life that you were in a relationship with wasn't the first narcissist. Those men that you dated, they triggered the first narcissist, the first person that triggered you. I mean, the first person that hurt you. So at the end of the day, the person that hurt you the first person that hurt you, it's most likely your mother, your dad, your uncle, somebody in your family. And now you out here blaming your whole world, all of your hurt on us men that don't even know you from a can of paint. But it's easier to blame us, romantic.
No, it's actually not easier to blame y'all. What's happening is people are talking about their experiences, and I don't deny that a lot of trauma that some people experience occurred in childhood. But if that happened, we can talk about that separately from the trauma people are expressing in their adulthood, right? Like, they might be related, they might not be, but they can also be completely, like, they are different, and you can talk about them. And the way that and this is a sleight of hand that I don't appreciate. On one hand, it feels like he's saying, don't blame men for the trauma that they inflict on you because they were raised by poor mothers, and the mothers were themselves traumatized, and so blah, blah, blah. None of that is so important. When you're an adult, you are responsible for your behavior. So I don't know why he goes back that far. Anyway, even in the sense that we're talking about trauma, he's dismissing people's trauma and saying, well, the first one we need to deal with is your childhood trauma. No, well, maybe if you're in a DV situation, the first thing we need to talk about is how to get you out of it, right? Like, it almost seems like he rips random quotes about life from Googling good quotes about motherhood and life, and then tries to make a narrative around it without understanding the context in which it was said. This is what I'm getting. This is why I say it feels remedial. Is there any hope left? Is there any hope left? Yes. I actually like this question. I know you were saying, you might have been saying it to be funny, or just saying it, not really asking for an answer. I think that I think it's hard to accept that you are a part of a group that is bad, right? Prior to my stint on YouTube, I would have been the person to overemphasize systemic issues. I realize that I do that as a justification for failure in other people. I have never done it to explain my own failure. And so when I think about that, right, like I will, if people brought up any stats about Black men or Black women, I am the first to explain how the past can impact the present. And it is true, I still believe all of this. But I realize when I fail in my personal life, I pick myself up and I try hard again because I don't use that as an excuse ever or a justification. And I don't think that explaining away people's failure, I don't think explaining away people's failure with the system is, how do I put this? That's not, that doesn't sound super conservative because that I am not. I think I want people to focus more in their individual lives on sort of individual responsibility, even if we go out in the world and fight against the system and try to change the system. I hope that on an individual level, we start looking at the kinds of issues that plague us, that are in our control, that we can we can respond to. I don't think we're willing to do that, and I think part of it is because no one want to do hard work. Ultimately, that's ultimately my belief. It was meant with all shade, but also seriousness, LOL, because I've given up. I mean, yeah, and it's hard to tell women not to give up on us. Right, like it's very difficult. Like I, I can't even say, like, I would never ever tell a woman not to give up on Black man, for example. And the reason is, I told a story before where I know someone who was ARD, right, and she did not tell she didn't tell me who, because I wanted to know, but the reason she did not inform the school is because she was like, we're at an elite school. If I do this, it is going to ruin his life. Well, what about your life? Right? Like, and so like the kinds of trauma that is out there for these people to face, it's very difficult for me to say, okay, women, please don't give up on us. Some of us are trying. No, I think it's better to do what is safe. Do what is safe for you. And sometimes I don't know what that is. The stats on sort of Black manhood and the way that Black man has engaged with other Black men, right? Because the leading cause of homicide the leading cause of death for Black men in the United States, ages 1 to 44, is homicide. Like, what? And then women also getting killed and abused and all of that. And it's like, how do you tell a group of women that, yeah, you need to fight for this community? Like, how do you do that? How do you do that with a straight face? All right, cool. Let's continue. I know you didn't mean to for us to go that way, but actually, I wanted to reflect a moment. So that's not on you. That's on me. Oh, whoa. So there are 465 people in here. Um, one, why? Two, thank you. That is kind of amazing. There is nothing in the title. There is no trigger word, keyword. There's nothing. I appreciate you guys. This is why, by the way, I feel so obligated to taking care of this community, because how is there 471 people here doing a lunch break? See, like, I am good. Thank you all.
Relationships, love interests versus actually going to the source, just like the Lexus dealership. Because if you take a BMW or whatever to some random mechanic, he's going to mess up the car. And if you keep taking it to the random mechanic, your warranty is going to be voided with the dealership. You got to go back to your own emotional dealership instead of running around trying to find coping mechanisms or ways to go around your trauma. You can't do that. So, hold on, where is it? I'm just going to have this down here. So anybody wants to come up and have this conversation with us, I'm going to have this link right here. Okay, so I have the link right here. If somebody wants to come up, just use your phone or whatever. You ain't even got to be on screen.
It really probably did sound great in his head, because I don't know what this man is talking about, this mechanic, like the dealership. I don't know. This sounds like a mess to me if I've ever heard a mess. This is a mess. More messy than the scum at the bottom of this mud water. This is so, like, you have to wash everything immediately after this because of all the gunk at the bottom.
If you don't want to, come up and share your opinion about this if you want to. Calmness is a superpower. Respond, don't react.
Che says, I truly appreciate your ability to address difficult topics with rational reasoning. I was becoming very concerned with everyone's extreme views and inability to think beyond themselves. I appreciate that. Thank you for the $10 super chat. I do appreciate that. Thank you. No, thank you, Themis. Your voice in the space is well needed. I appreciate you. I appreciate, like, 467 people watching right now is unreal, kind of like really unreal. Dragging mud water at every turn, at every single turn, until I find a recipe that is good. He doesn't even know how to present and acknowledge it correctly. That is your teacher. That is your teacher. You guys better pay respect to this man teaching you how to, I don't know, untangle your, I don't know what he teaches actually.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
That, by the way, is not true. I do know that he talks about the 4 connection style. So I'm just saying that to be shady intentionally.
But you have to be taught how to react. I mean, how to respond versus how to react. You know what I'm saying? So what are your thoughts on all this?
It's very interesting because it's,
and just so y'all know, Chula you're mixed with what?
My dad's Puerto Rican, my mom's Black and Creole.
Right. So she feels like, okay, I don't want to step on Black women's toes. I don't know if I want to say this. So the way she's looking.
Oh, okay. So she knew better than to come here. And all right, let's do it. Let's do it. She is what you would call, I have learned, a preference, right? Light skin, hair, all of that, right? She is what you would call a preference. She is now confirmed that she's mixed with this, and that. Don't matter, don't care. And she's saying, I don't want to talk about this. And he is saying, oh, I brought you on to talk about this. I don't care. You said you don't want to stomp on women, Black women and all that stuff, but you get to talk. You understand, well, let me see if he actually does it before I drag. Let me see if he actually does it. Because I do think conversations should be broad enough for people to engage. But if you're going to come and talk about something and you have a sort of privilege in the conversation, you better use it well, because I won't have the mercy on you that I would normally on other people, because you decided to come into people's space knowing that this man probably think of you as attractive. You were sitting there nodding your head. You don't know what pandering means. You don't know how to engage in the conversation. And yet you came and sat there with him talking and dragging Black women who you don't identify as, because you just said you're mixed. So let's ignore the fact that Puerto Rican is not a race. Let's ignore that and just continue with this delusion. All right, let's go.
Looking is like, okay, I don't know if I want to say anything. So
because I don't think that a lot of like my take on things and how I experience the world and
you
how
raised with two parents, right?
Right.
Right.
And it's
right.
a different culture, like, you know.
Yeah.
So I definitely.
Oh, okay. Well, she was raised with two parents, different culture. All right. This sounds to me like she's saying this is not my place to talk. I can appreciate that. Don't talk about it if you're not equipped. You don't have to be wait, by the way, Organic Black donated $11 super chat. So I don't know if I said thank you. Thank you.
Agree with things that you're saying. I feel that maybe my input can maybe not really be useful to somebody who only had one parent.
But
like I could say, oh, this is how I am. Like I went to college literally for psychology because I'm like I identified things that was wrong with me. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to college. I did read parenting books. I did do. I did all the things. I'm like, okay, I want to be better. I gotta read books. I gotta So, but that was maybe more easily for me to see.
Your daughter's dad is in her life.
Yes. She's with him. Yeah.
Right.
So
wait, your daughter's dad. So she's not married. Tell me more.
There was just I kind of did things even through working through my trauma. I kind of did things.
I mean, to be fair, she could be married. He just said your daughter's mom, your daughter's dad is in her life. So they could be married. I don't know. Yeah, the way he said it for me implied that they weren't together, but that is a rhetorical point that I should not have made. I should not have made that jump. They might be married. I apologize, young lady. You might be married.
To try to compensate for, trauma that I had to try to be better.
Right.
But I think maybe that was easier for me to kind of catch on to because of my upbringing. And just, I don't come from, I think education level is a big thing too with parents. If your single mom is also uneducated, she raised you. Both my parents went to college. They met in college. So it's like, even in their own traumatizing ways, it's like blue collar trauma.
Blue collar
and then there's hood trauma. It's very different. It's like white people trauma. Like I have white people trauma.
She said that white people trauma.
Because
That's interesting.
It's like because a lot of people think, oh, if you have two parents and they're educated, you're not going through the same trauma. It's like, no, it's different.
How different is it?
Because it's like quiet trauma. Like
okay, let me ask you this. Because I've heard this plenty of times. There are people out here.
All right. So this is how I interpret it, right? She would have corrected. They would have said husband. That's how I would have interpreted. But I think that it's not fair that in the absence of husband that I assumed. I am like 85% sure, but because I'm not over 95% sure, I'm going to say that I don't know. Maybe they're being coy with words. I don't know. But yeah.
Here who have two parents with abandonment issues.
Yes, because people can abandon. There's a lot of people think being in the same home means that your parents are engaged in parenting you, and protecting you, and providing for you.
Right.
And this is why, I'm not so too stuck on the fact of not being married, because I know I was raised.
Sorry. All right. Got it. I was reading a comment right as she just said, that's why I am not stuck on not being married, right? So she's not married. We got it right. So you guys figured it out. We figured it out. We were correct. I don't have to correct myself on that. Now, why does this matter to me? It matters because it should matter. And this man has made all these claims about Black women and single parent. Now you have beside you a woman who grew up in a two-parent household who is a single mother. So what were you saying about the trauma in the single parent? Like, maybe parents are sometimes bad, regardless of if it's single mother or not. Maybe people have trauma that transcends whether or not your parents are there. Maybe, just maybe, it doesn't only have to do with the single mother. And wait, I'm pretty sure she's gonna explain her trauma, because she just said she had trauma.
Is in a marriage.
Right.
So
right.
I know what it's like. I've seen 2 marriages, my grandparents, my parents, like my uncle, like everyone gets married.
Mhm.
So I can see the holes in that experience too.
Mhm.
So a lot of people might be looking up to those of us with 2-parent households, like, oh man, I wish I had my dad around.
Uh-huh.
You know, I wish I had this,
Yeah.
my parents are married, and
Yeah.
but it's like parents and marriages can still be toxic.
Mhm.
Parents and marriages can still traumatize you and abuse you.
So did they traumatize you, or?
Yeah, my parents deeply traumatized me and abused me and my siblings in
Mm.
in multiple ways.
Right.
And we may have had the, I don't know, convenience of like having 2 parents where like we were able to kind of be, being homeschooled and stuff. Like we were isolated a lot. Like it was so many different things of like.
So what was the actual trauma, if you don't mind?
So my parents were, they literally sort of like Bonnie and Clyde. My dad is a narcissist and my mom's an enabler, so she really had no say so in the marriage.
Mhm.
So I don't really have, but she was really just a tool. So even though my mom,
wow.
she was, because she has no say so.
She didn't have say so, yeah.
People with, single Black moms, their mom is everything. She has all the say so.
Right.
So my mom may have been Black, but like she had no say so. She had no power in this relationship.
Yeah.
So my dad basically was the ringleader of everything. So my parents like physically abused us.
Okay, so this is the submission that these people want. Like, and this is so annoying. How did you? I don't know who this woman is. I am sorry that she faced trauma. I really am. Like, I don't think anyone should have to go through the world with trauma, right? My thing is, how are you going to sit there with a man telling women how they need to be married and single mothers are the worst, and you have an experience where your mother was abused, you were abused by your father who was there? Maybe men need to be better. Maybe this man sitting beside you trying to tell women how to be better is not aiming in the right direction. Just a maybe. And from your subjective perspective, you have experienced your mother being in a relationship with your father who abused her and abused you based on your own words. And this man is trying to teach women how to be better women, yet you don't ask him, wait, what about teaching men how to be better men? Because your dad was the abuser. Like, I just, how are you sitting there discomfortable? Well, actually, check myself again. I do think that abuse and trauma, I'm not diagnosing this woman, I'm speaking generally, shows up differently for different people. And maybe, and I'm not saying she's passive, I'm not saying that. Maybe some of the reasons why there are some women who will sit and co-sign some of the dangerous ideas being espoused by some of these men. Maybe some of them do so because, well, that's what they know. And maybe that is their trauma, right? And it's unfortunate to me that having this woman tell her story, right now, with you on your YouTube channel was done so openly, and you did not reflect on maybe my messaging should not be so hard on women. Maybe it is because of survival that women are not choosing, right? Maybe God, this is divine intervention, that instead of being with narcissistic men, that they're single mothers. Instead of facing abuse, more abuse from the father of their children, that they get to raise their children alone. And maybe the dysfunction that comes from that is probably better than having a person in the home that is going to be destructive. I don't know, but you sitting there, no ad hominem attack, you sitting there right now talking about how you are going to teach women how to be better with a woman sitting across from you or beside you telling you that the people in her life that were the worst growing up was a man. I don't know how you don't realize your message might be aimed at the wrong group. I don't know how you don't see how your message, at least anecdotally, right, in her situation, not generalizable, but really it is, because we can look to the stats about who gets abused. But either way, in her situation, I hope you can sit there and say, you know what? Maybe your dad needed some lessons in how to be a better father. Now let's get to what this trauma was. I'm probably going to cut this off soon because um, he just here to send a message, and this is part of the problem. Like, if you're only here to say a message, you can correct in the moment because you are worried about what your YouTube is going to be. You're worried about what the people watching are going to think, and so you don't get to self-correct in that moment. I hope if she's your friend that you can literally connect with her now and realize that even if it's not true, but even if your message was applicable to women generally, that in her case, she needs you to be a friend and realize that her dad was the one with the problem. And she said she's mixed, so I'm assuming her dad is not the one that's black. I'm going to say thank God. Because I'm assuming that the dad is not the one that's black. But if the dad is Puerto Rican, if the dad is the Puerto Rican one, then some people might say he's black, and that because Puerto Rican is not a race. Look, I'm not going to get into this. So let's continue because this is a mess.
You know, like all me and my sister have all been sexually abused.
Yeah.
Like emotional abuse, like neglect, everything. But they were in a marriage, so like we were always with them every single day. We saw our parents every day.
Yeah.
Every single day. Damn. So when people are like, "Oh, why aren't you married?" Hold on now.
Right, because you like
wait, watch your stuff. Like, you know, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you know, you must not be lucky." Hold on, we're not gonna reach into that. We're not gonna do that.
Right.
Because first of all, you don't even know what it's like to be raised with two parents. You don't know what it's like to
wait. I wait. What? So there are reasons. Are you telling me there are reasons why women would not be married? Legitimate reasons why women would not be married. Oh, there are. Your message is out here trying to get women to be married. Maybe there's more nuance. Maybe there is more nuance that you need to consider in your messaging, telling women that they need to get married. Thank you. Final, yes. Oh, it's mahogany pink. Of course. Yes. Not her dragging his whole premise. Yeah. Like, Akima, we need to do Demas, we need to do a live on this topic. Oh, this is live. This is live. This is live. Oh my God, this is bad. Let's continue. Drag.
have parents.
It's like to be triangulated.
Conspire together
right,
to keep outsiders out of what's really going on. Like
you can't run here because they're conspiring with each other, so you can't go to this parent because they're conspiring with each other. So it's like being triangulated.
Exactly. So so that abuse is even more deeper than your mom, because you can't even say, well, you know, if I could go to my dad, it would be different.
Yeah.
Well, they're married and they live together.
What was his purpose of the direction he brought y'all down? How he hurt y'all or whatever? What do you think his purpose was? Do you think he was hurt by a woman, or he just was raised wrong? Or
wait, not you trying to justify. All right. Your friend told you that she was abused by her father. Your response is, why did he do it? Was he raised? Not only why, like you could legitimately ask why. I don't know why you would ask someone who has been abused why they were abused. Like, don't know why you would do that. But Then you gave her an answer in the question by stating, was he raised by abusive mother? Are we excusing this behavior? Are we blaming women for a grown man's action? Is that what? Someone said, see, he's on code. I mean, yeah, actually, I'm actually kind of stunned at this. Like, let's continue. Themis and Thoth, they always excusing abuse. Well, yeah. He gonna make it women's fault by hook or by crook. Yeah, like, first of all, you asked this woman to divulge, like, I'm assuming they had a talk before, and you asked this person to divulge this kind of personal information, and you are going to now make, well, I guess they probably didn't talk before, because how were you willing to let her pretty much demolish your entire, like, premise? I don't think they talked before. I think this was an impromptu live. He gonna make it woman's fault by hook or crook. Thank you, Vitamin.
Or what do you think?
I think that he
Who's a control freak, or
well, I remember him saying one thing. Like, I remember our dad saying, like, I didn't have you to love you. I had you so I could do whatever I want with you.
Whoa.
So,
oh my God.
It's like I said, when people get into relationships with people to hurt them, you just birth the people that you want to hurt.
Sheesh.
Same thing.
So, ladies, just for the record, we are talking about parental trauma. The main reason why I talk about women so much is because that's why I see the most of the issues come from and be perpetuated by, but not one.
Really? You thought the most of the issues come from women in terms of trauma and children not abandoning, not the person who abandoned them? Really? If you think that, then you literally don't know what you're doing. You have not done the work. You have absolutely not done enough work to be anybody's coach. But I guess no one on the line is doing any kind of work, so everyone can come out and say, oh, I am a coach. You literally can't string together a good sentence, right? You can't put together a good analogy. And so I don't understand how you are training people to do anything, particularly when your words are fundamental import in the group that you're talking to. It is triggering to me that a grown man who fancies himself a coach dealing with attachment issues relating to childhood trauma is hearing a woman talk about her trauma, and then he is attempting to excuse the person who How are you going to excuse a person who inflicted the trauma on the person? How is that your first move? Your entire existence online, you articulated, is about dealing with women and their attachment style. These attachment styles are predicated fundamentally on childhood trauma. And you have an opportunity to interact in front of an audience with a woman telling you about her childhood trauma and her refusal to get married because of her childhood trauma, which is directly related to the work you do, which is about attachment style. And in that moment, you decided that you were going to blame her, or at least attempt to disregard what she went through in order to justify some foolishness regarding women's role in men's bad behavior. How? How is that your position? I don't understand it. I literally do not understand this. This is your job. This is what you said your job was. The Bratz doll says, I woke up a while ago to the fact that fathers in the home is not the end all and be all solution to a dysfunctional society and family dynamics. No! And this is the thing, people are like training women to be submissive and to get men. Why? What men? If no one is training these men to be better, if all you're doing is making excuses for these men, you are training women to be in abusive relationship. That is what you're doing. That's not good. All right, let's think about it. Your education doesn't matter. Your school doesn't matter. You need to figure out how to get a woman. All right, great. A man. Great, you figure out how to get the man. These men literally cannot provide, cannot protect, and they inflict trauma. No one is telling them that they are wrong and that they need to do better, right? No one is engaging in that behavior, and by no one I'm being hyperbolic, right? I'm talking about the loudest voices. How are women going to cope in these environments after you have diminished them in this way? How? Sorry, I let the comments were moving quickly.
Time am I ever going to say dads don't traumatize their kids either? Because I would say the typical single dad has caused their daughters not to trust men the same way single moms cause their daughters not to trust men, because they all are going to say, oh, men are trash, all they want to do is have sex, don't trust them, don't do this, don't do that. So fathers are hella toxic too. But at the end of the day, that is the reason why I'm here, because it's so important for you guys to like fix your issues, get therapy, get coaching. And like I said, I have a coach.
I am not a therapist, but one could come to the conclusion, right, that a person might not trust a man because there were no men in her life. One could come to the conclusion that the reason that a woman might grow up to not trust a man is because her dad was nowhere around. It could be the case that a mother has inflicted tremendous trauma on a young girl, so much so that she does not trust anyone, right? It could be the case, but these all could be possible. So how then do you get to this conclusion? All right, let's continue.
Coaching group. I have an actual course that's under this video. I offer help. So once you fix your own issues, you'll then be out in this world as a healed person, and your discernment, your ability to observe what a man is doing and what he's not doing, so you can pay attention to the fact that he's a good father, and then start having sex with him and then marry him. So you'll be able to get a better understanding of you, men, and your interaction with men, so you can pick the right man. So you and him won't, or you or him won't traumatize your children. That's the reason why I'm here. But go ahead.
Yeah, and
wait. So you are teaching women to be better and to select better. Again, who teaching these men? Because you were the man who entered into a relationship with a woman, impregnated said woman, cheated multiple times on said woman, and then left said woman, right? All right. I'm assuming your response to that is that you have changed, even if you're not married, right? So do you have that discernment that you're teaching? Because if you had that discernment, you probably should be. If marriage is the ultimate goal, right? Why aren't you choosing a good woman? Like, are there just no good women? Like, are you just teaching all women to be good? Like, look. Y'all can take this course if you want.
I will say that when you're, you know, I hear a lot of, you know, people, you know, single moms, but I think when you're abused by men, your parental figures, male parental figures, I think that you form into a different type of woman where your vulnerability to men's control makes you a target. Because while I had my dad in my life my whole life, the way that he abused us gave me like a predisposition to being with men who were going to take advantage of me because
It
I'm
was
more
an assumption.
docile. I'm used to men controlling me. I'm used to
Oh, yeah.
men telling me what to do. I'm used to men,
Yeah.
I'm used to their dominance. I'm used to submitting to men
Mm.
through the way that, my father abused us. So
Yeah.
I think it could be just as, the damage is just as
Probably
harsh
worse.
or worse because
Yeah.
when you're raised by a single mom, I feel like you can only go by what she tells you about men and, with the men that she brings
'Cause
around.
You're exposed to a toxic man. You're
When
like,
that's-
oh, damn.
It's like, wow, if this man that I come from
Yeah.
can do this.
You want to know something, Drew? Drew says she's literally acting this out as she says it. I was actually thinking about this as she was talking. Everything she says seems antithetical to his message. And yet she's agreeing with him instead of like pushing back. Now she's speaking about her trauma, right? And she's not necessarily pushing back at him, right? Mind you, she's just talking about her own experience, and it actually goes against what he's saying. So finally, we get a glimpse of someone pushing back, but she's not actually, right? And she's talking about how she's usually submitting to men, and it feels very much the case that she is letting him kind of run with the narrative and agreeing with him when her own experience, her own trauma, her own literal existence is antithetical and against what he's pushing for. Who knew? Here is a sad marketing reality. Only women in mass care about improving, and men only one by one when the woman they really want kicks them out to the curb and he wants her back. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. The way Black men are socialized to relate to women is proven to be detrimental to my overall well-being. This is sad. I am actually, I was thinking about, well, he said coaching course. If he had like an actual course, I probably should look at it and bring and come back. But this feels very Derek Jackson-esque. I don't understand. So I'm assuming Tasha K is promoting him because he helped her take down Derek Jackson. This is not confirmed. This is me thinking out loud. So that might be why Tasha K is pushing him. But I also accept that I've heard this phrase thrown around a lot on these in spaces, Black women empowerment spaces, and it is the idea of Black male worshiping culture. And I've actually started doing a video on it, and then I stopped because I think it's a very amorphous idea, but I get the concept and I understand it. I understand what it means to be in a Black male worshiping culture. And one of my theses was that it came about, especially in the Black community, it came about, obviously patriarchy, but specifically about recognizing the lack of power that Black men have in the world and within the community. There is an attempt, I think, to sort of make up for that absence of power. There is a willingness to excuse a ton of bad behaviors because of the reality of, let's just say, systemic oppression, right? Even to the detriment of people who engage in this culture. And I don't, obviously, it's not just men. Women are a big part of kind of coddling men and excusing behaviors that are fundamentally flawed. As I was watching Tasha K think out loud and then ask a question. She asked, wait, how are you different from Derek Jackson? She then asked, why did you leave your wife? Why should anyone listen to you? What use good is this? In the way she asked the question, it felt like she understand that this was foolishness also. Yet she was still promoting it. And she then went on his channel and the whole thing. And for a very long time, I was trying to grapple with why. Why would women engage in behaviors that would ultimately not benefit women as a whole? And there's a lot of financial reasons still, and a lot of reasons why it won't impact you specifically, but women generally, you can see yourself as separate, and you can buy into this quote unquote male worshiping culture. I get it. I'm gonna finish that video. I'm going to, because I don't know when I'm gonna put it out, but I think that it has some significance now. And I do think women also have to reckon with this culture and their part in promoting this culture, because it's not good for the man, and it's definitely, like, it's literally detrimental to the woman, right? Like, that's not good, but it's not good for men. Like, if you're telling men that they're doing good and you're supporting them when they're not doing good, why would they do better? And that's not to blame women, by the way. Like, literally not to blame. It's just, I think the culture excuses too much. Like, there's too many excuses. This man needs help. This man needs to deal with his own trauma. He needs to do some learning. And it's okay to want to be a coach, a life coach, or whatever it is. But you also have to deal with your own issues and learn how to appropriately address other people's issues that you want to teach and train. Like, Deandra says, I grew up with my father and he was very abusive to my mother. And when I was married, I accepted that as normal. Marriage is not the solution. Better people is the solution, not marriage, not the institution. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
There's no limit to what a man outside of me can do. And that makes it, I feel like that's way worse. I feel that that's way worse, especially if you want to be intimate with men. That's where you start to see how much that your dad doing these certain things sets you up for failure with men. Yeah. Because you might be, like I said, a lot of guys, like, they always talk about submission and being cooperative and all these other things. And those things are instilled in a lot of women who are abused by men. But there is these other disadvantages of being you could be overly submissive. You could be selfless in a lot of ways, or you could fear men to the point where they think it's submission, but really you're scared of them. Yeah. You're scared. And there's a big difference. Yeah. And so, like, I was on TikTok, and this guy was like, if I keep telling this girl, if I was around you, I would make you submit. You and I, and it took me back, and I was like, trigger. And I'm like, if you have to, why would a man want to make you submit, yo? Because he said it's biological. I'm like, then why do you have to force it? Was it another person on YouTube, or was it an actual person? Because I think I know what you're talking about. No, it was a TikTok. It was a TikTok. Random person. Yeah. It was a light-skinned dude. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't light-skinned. Okay. He was black, but he wasn't light-skinned. But, and I was just kind of like, that concept is coming from a type of man who abuses women. Yeah, it's a woman who, he's a type of, he looks for women to dominate specifically. Mm-hmm. That is his motive for dealing with women. Right. Domination. His motive for dealing with women. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a lot of men, they think that these types of traits are always good, but a lot of times they're coming from a place of being abused by men. This kind of minimizing yourself is kind of like easily, moldable. Like, it's rooted in abuse. Right. So that's just my take on things. Like, I think, because my mom is so insignificant.
She said it. She said it. Yeah. Well, let's see his response to this. I am very curious, because I don't have to add anything. Man runs the household. It's really, you're just kind of just there waiting in the wind for his order to come for you to do something. Right. So with that being said, what type of wife do you want to be? The wife I want to be? She literally just said, I mean, she's smiling now, but I thought she just said she doesn't want to get married, or don't judge her for not wanting to be married right now because of the trauma she saw her mom go through. Wait, why is she smiling? I can't. Mm-hmm. I think the wife that I want to be is like, see how her face lit up? I want to be happy. Like, I want to be the reason why our family stays happy. I love that. That's what I want to be. Yeah. Good answer. I love it. I just love how your face just lit up, because like that was a really just a harsh memory. Just think about all that stuff. Yeah. So I'm sorry you had to go through that.
one thing I can definitely say is I took a lot from my parents.
You're not sorry. You don't go out of, oh, your mom went through so much trauma when she was married and her husband was horrible too. What kind of wife do you want to be?
Being in a relationship and just able to see, because, you know, one thing with abusive parents is like sometimes the abuse kind of develops, and so you can kind of remember like little sparks when they were not mean to you, or when they were like being nice.
Yeah.
And so I always took from those moments, and just, you know, I know the importance of that families can be great, that marriages can be good. Because my grandparents were not like my parents.
Right.
So I love my grandparents. They were like my favorite people. You know, my grandfather, like he was like a provider, and he was always telling me like, so it's very hard. He didn't come to America till he was 12. So I don't, you know, his dad ended up dying. I think his trauma, he never really dealt with it a lot. He never really dealt with it. You know, he just kind of, you know, these groups are not working. If you find a spouse that's always going to be your teammate. So a lot of times the spouse is your crutch. You know,
your spouse is your crutch.
You know, that becomes your tower of power, because like, okay, all these outsiders, but I have this.
Damn. Yeah. But
it gave me
I need to hear that. I need to hear that.
You know, these groups are not working. If you find a spouse that's always going to be your teammate. So a lot of times the spouse is your crutch. You know,
your spouse is your crutch.
You know, that becomes your tower of power, because like, okay, all these outsiders, but I have this.
Damn. Yeah. But
it gave me cult vibes.
It's like your what?
It gave me cult vibes.
Cult vibes.
You know, being homeschooled.
Yeah, the majority of black parents. I mean, the majority of black families are ran like a cult.
Well, yeah, that's how a lot of marriages are, though.
So yeah, you have a lot of similarities with single mom family households, because the child, to a certain degree,
it's very different.
A slave to their parent, and then at the same time, when, not if, but because in a lot of cases it's a when and not an if. I wish it was an if, but I would say when little Johnny or little Jessica gets, you know, blanked by Uncle Jimmy, nobody is supposed to say something. Just like in a cult, you better not tell nobody.
Yeah, I think that's any abusive household, though. I think that the secrecy is a part.
Yes, that's a lot of abusive household, and let's not say single mother in that context. Let's actually put the blame where it should be, on the man who engaged in that behavior. Like, I just don't understand his whole existence. I am kind of confused, actually. And I'm confused in that there seems to be no accountability at all for men. I'm actually quite disappointed in this video, but let me finish it.
There's similarities from your situation.
Oh yeah, all abusive people have very similar stories.
That's all I'm saying. So your story is different, but it's still similar. So it's relative to what we're talking about.
Yeah. I guess, you know, but I think that
your dad was just a ringleader versus the mom being a ringleader.
Yeah, and that kind of socializes you differently, though.
Yeah.
Because while these women, they think all these, you know, they have this internalized kind of hate for men and all these things. It's like, with the way I was raised, it's more of a fear of men. And hating men and fearing men are two different things.
Oh, wait.
It's not the same thing.
So put in the chat, if you had to choose from one, do you hate men or do you fear men? Probably nobody's going to admit or say
right. No one's going to really.
Because I don't know myself. I don't know what y'all going to say. But
most of them would say they hate. Because when I say like I'm scared of men, they're like, why are you?
Oh, so they think a man ain't going to do nothing to me. Yeah.
I'm like, there's so many reasons to be scared.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
To me, there's so many. I could go down the line of reasons why I would be scared. They're stronger than me. A lot of men are predatory.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of men, you know, have a desire to be dominant over women, even if they don't know you.
Right.
You know, it's so many reasons why. Like, look at the statistics. Like, there's so many reasons. But a lot of women who hate men feel like they can stand up to them. And so the how you deal with men is differently. Exactly. Yeah. So a lot of when I say like, oh, I've had positive interaction with men, a lot of them comes just because I'm socialized to fear them.
Yeah.
Instead of hate them.
Right.
And be combative, because it's a defense mechanism.
Yeah. I get that.
I find more protection in fear.
You find more, and some women may find more protection in hate. But either way it goes is a protection mechanism.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Sheesh. So we're gonna end this because this was really dope. We got all here.
What do you mean we're gonna end this? You're not gonna respond at all. You're not gonna respond. She just outlined that based on her experience and the experience of a lot of women, they fear men, and some of them say they hate men because of it. You said, oh, that's a defense mechanism. Okay. Is it a legitimate defense mechanism? Is it a maladaption, right? Is it something that they shouldn't do? Should women in 2021 not fear men? Can you honestly look at Black women, because you just said you don't know about any other group. So can you say Black women should not fear Black men? Because we're talking about statistics. Even in the situation where the mother doesn't seek justice for her child, why? It tends to be a please protect, keep these men. Yeah, again, the idea of Black male worshiping is, yeah, it just harms everyone involved. I feel like he's not going to respond.
Here, because we just be talking about stuff, all these dope conversations or whatever. And I hope you guys learned something from this. And like I said, I'm never going to leave you guys without a solution, because I'm not the type of person who's just going to be out here talking mess about whoever and not add or offer a solution. So if you want a solution to your issues, or if you have a friend that wants a solution to their issues, go under this video and, you know, once.
Absolutely not. No, no. This man is not it. It's not it. By the way, I need to come back while we are in the manosphere for a second, just so that you guys know that this did actually happen. We talked about it before. So this is what Kevin Samuel said. I'm not even going to prep or anything. I'm just going to put this out there. Ready for it? All right.
He didn't specify a single woman. He said the blanket term Black women are on the opposite spectrum of beauty and that we have asymmetrical faces.
No, I did not. Black women, I would never say Black women's faces don't map along the Fibonacci sequence. That is outright, that is wrong. And that is something that has been running across the internet. No, ma'am.
All right. So he denied that he said Black women were the opposite end of the golden ratio, and it's on a spectrum, and they're just not as attractive as other people. I've already showed this audio. I'm just going to do it now. Sorry, someone said they're confused. The two people who were talking before me bored me. So.
Subjective. That's why we have the golden ratio, the Fibonacci equation. You can look at facial symmetry and see that beautiful people, you can map their facial structure, and it goes to a mathematical calculation.
Oh yeah.
Beauty is universal. And the thing is, we're talking about Black women, they are on the opposite end of the spectrum on all ranks. Facial symmetry, even to the way to Black women are starting to look more masculine.
You just heard.
I don't know. That was playing in the background. All right. So I just wanted to put that out there again, because I got a message saying I lied, that he never denied it, but he definitely did deny it. Putting that out there. Now, back to this first video. I don't understand why it is that men are all coming out thinking it's their place to tell women how to be better. Like, honestly don't know. But if you're going to do it, at least react and acknowledge some of the realities that the person sitting across from you is saying. I actually am very, very curious about how to proceed with this Black male worshiping culture, right? And I want to talk about it because I think, well, if you're a Black man, you've benefited from it. And I recognize that the kinds of pressures that exist for women, there are some pressures that exist for men, but I don't think men have to live up to these standards. But I think women get penalized when they aren't living up to whatever beauty standards is there, whatever standards for them to become a mother, businesswoman, educated, all while having to be sort of living a life that is conflicting with the ideas that you are being told that you need to meet. I don't understand it. But for most of my life, personal story separately, I've been around women who didn't actually care about any traditional notion about anything. And they kind of went through life getting their degrees, becoming sort of bosses in that way, and not really having to grapple with people's ideas about what they should and should not be. But I'm realizing now that if if we are to have a conversation that is not about hating each other and pulling at each other and tearing each other down, I do believe that it's not great to say women and men hate each other or are going back and forth with each other. I don't think that is necessarily the case, because the men who are speaking aren't actually addressing root issues. The men who are speaking aren't actually speaking to the fact of men's contribution to some of the problems in our community. On the opposite end, every single one of the women are doing it. Like every single Black empowerment woman speaking, right? All of them, every single one of them had said in some way, choose better. The divestors believe choosing better means you leave. Hypergamous groups thinks you should choose richer. Like every Black woman has articulated in the sort of Black woman empowerment space how Black women should be accountable and step up and all of that stuff. The same kind of conversation is not happening on the other end. It's almost always centered around why women should do better. And I am prone to believe that these men don't actually believe this. I'm thinking they don't believe this. I think most of these men actually do this for clicks. And the best way to do it is to drag women, Black women, actually, not every woman. You can't drag every woman and survive on this internet thing. I think you can drag Black women, you can curse them out, you can tell them that they're the worst. They can react to it, and then you can either apologize or double down. Either way, you're going to get an audience. And I think that's what a lot of people have decided to do. Now, imagine, if you will, and I talked about this before, a world in which the manosphere actually address some of the issues in the Black community that affects men, right? One of the things that I learned about in law school was becoming a default father, whereby you can become a father of a child that you are not the biological father of, depending on how the mother engaged with you, if you were married, all of that stuff, even if she cheated. I assumed that's what some people would talk about, but even that is not statistically significant enough to be a problem that most men would talk about. So we're not even going to get into that. I assumed we were going to talk about what it means to develop as men, what it means to be accountable, why education should matter, right? All of this talk online, by the way, this is why I despise the message coming from the manosphere. All of this talk saying women's degree and education does not matter and their job does not matter, right? All of it is centered on telling women that they should not pursue their education and degree. Because if you were actually in the business of improving men, you would articulate to them why a woman with an education and a job could be a benefit to not just them, but the family. That's what you would be doing. So you telling a woman to focus on her beauty and how attractive she is to a man, while it is significant, on the other end, you're telling them that their education and their job doesn't matter. It is a message that you're sending. None of these people want to actually take ownership of that message. None of these people want to say, we don't want you to be educated. We don't want you to have a job. They can't because they cannot afford to do that. Literally cannot afford to do that. So instead, they try to make women who have jobs and education diminish themselves in order to feel better about being a man who does not have sufficient resources to even live by himself. I don't understand that. And these men who are doing it on YouTube have already made enough money or can make enough money on YouTube for them to be providers. So they are pandering, in my opinion, to men who think women are the problem and do not want to develop. Like literally, we've talked about this, and I don't want to quote Jordan Peterson because no, so I'm not going to do that. But at some point, we have to acknowledge that personal responsibility should trump, right? Like at some point, we have to acknowledge that the reason you are single is because you don't want the woman that wants you. And you are probably trying to reach people who are out of your league, right? And you are upset with those people who don't want you, and you want them to diminish themselves for you. And that's the problem. Like, you might need to work harder, make more money, and do whatever it is that you need to do if you want the person who want that. And maybe you shouldn't want that person. I don't know. But that's what you're doing. I wanted to read Deanne. Timothy and Toth, they do not believe it. They know that if Black women were to do better, we would be even more beyond their reach. Yeah. And then instead of growing, they're trying to stunt the growth. Like, who does that? Instead of growing, dark energy, dark. Thank you. Timothy and Toth, they want to go back to me, the Cleavers from the 1950s. I can't. Hi, Themis. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everyone. We have the most male virgin in modern times. The Manosphere message is not helping. Absolutely not. It's not helping, and they know it's not helping, and they don't care. They don't actually care about these men, right? Like, what did that lady say? They saw soccer and they're licking. These men will continue to contribute to these men becoming richer and having a platform while not actually giving any advice on how to be better men. And to the extent that the roommates actually put out videos about financial literacy, no one watches it, right? So the roommates, seeing that no one watches it, goes back to dragging women and telling us why women today are the worst, why modern women are the worst, as if modern men are any better. If like, I just don't know at this point. And everyone, why don't Black folks who don't like each other just date out? It's not as simple. Actually, let's bring this back up. Why don't Black folks who don't like each other just date out? So I've come up with my own thesis. This is rough, but here we go. I think, based on the kinds of anger and stories that I'm being told and I'm hearing, that there are some people who want to divest. There are some people who have divested, but I think a lot of people still hold on to hope that Black men, can do better. I saw this in a stream on the Honest Truth channel, and that perk guy, Cloud, I don't know, the guy, there was a rapper who made a song about Cynthia G, and he was on there, obviously not listening to anyone. Literally, I honestly don't know why that conversation happened, if you ask me, but it happened. And I saw women after women attempting to talk, to almost negotiate his own sort of. I saw women trying to attempt to speak life into him. That's the phrase. And I'm sitting there thinking like, whoa. And it's interesting because These are the black women that people are like, oh, they don't like black men and blah, blah, blah. And I saw women attempting to speak to this man who threatened them, literally threatened them. He did not only threaten Cynthia G, he threatened black women. And the way he spoke to them was just ridiculous. On his original song and video. And then he came on, and while they were speaking, he was throwing up signs, he was walking around, all that stuff he was doing, not actually engaging in conversation with them. And yet, there were some still attempting to talk to him. And yes, I think a lot of women are frustrated, angry, and they should be. But I don't think it's necessarily hate. I'm not speaking for women. I don't know. But I don't feel hate. The fact that I am a black man speaking here, people might say, oh, well, you're saying what they want. But think about that. Do they hate black men? Or do they hate black men's actions? Like the fact that people are here, like it's really like I actually left because it got way too ghetto for me. I mean, let's be honest. Like I'm not gonna engage in that. Absolutely not. But I watched women after women. By the way, whatever. I watched women after women went up. Some of them more aggressive than others, but most of them attempting to negotiate with him, attempting to explain why this man saying he wanted to kill them, why he wanted to R them, why that was wrong. Like women were actually talking to him, explaining to him why this was wrong. That's not hate. I don't think it's the smartest thing to do. I am not wasting that energy. Absolutely not. Nope. But that can't be hate. As loving a person as I am, I could never engage in that conversation. As if I were a woman, I couldn't do that. But yet they were there attempting over and over and over and over again. And yet men come on and say, oh, these women hate men and blah, blah, blah. Black women don't like us. And it's like, a lot of people would just let you be and not tell you how bad this is. A lot of people who you have abused would not have the patience to talk to you about how you are contributing to a culture that inflicted tremendous harm on them. Like, how? Like, I don't understand that. And for people to continuously come on here, this channel, this platform, I blocked people. But for people to continuously come on here and pretend like they don't see what women are talking about online, it's just disingenuous. Don't come here and tell me to be balanced. Like, don't do that. Like just don't. Just accept that is crappy. All right, I'm going to end it here because I don't want to continue this. Themis and Thos, Batman, say we hate them because we get tired of mothering them and hold them to the standard of adult men. Yeah. I find it trash bag logic. They want to be the kings of See, this is what I'm not gonna do. And this was a serious moment, but this is funny. The kings of a kingdom. I can. Take care of yourself, Themis. You're a real gym out here, and we love you. I love you guys too. Thank you so kings of a kingdom. I can't. Who come up with that stuff? All right. Thank you guys so. Oh my God, 533 people watching. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. I do hope to see you guys on Friday. We have another person that we need to talk about. His name is the lead attorney. That is what I'm going to tell you for now. Um, no, absolutely not. So that, and then we have the debate on Saturday. Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please come and hear everyone debate. A lot of the reason for where we are is because Black women love Black men more than themselves. Yeah, I mean, how do you explain the kinds of abuse and unwillingness, even when you are not engaged with this man, you don't like this man individually, you are going to say, I will not tell that he R''d me because he might lose everything he has. Like, what? I wish I knew who it was. And part of that is like I could not go and tell because one, I know she also does not want to have to go through kind of what can be seen as double humiliation, right? Double victimization. And so I don't have the authority to tell that to go and tell the police for her. But that yeah, it's a mentality. Anyway, thank you so much. Not me 2008. All right, have a good day. Apparently, we'll talk about that. Bye, everyone. Let me go to the after show. So, thank you all. We're in the after show. Let me pull up something. I do hope that I see you guys at the debate on um, Thursday, on Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I am just pointing out that I don't actually know how this is gonna go. Like I'm obviously super excited, but I also don't know. So I think we should all be okay being here. So the prompt is racism the biggest problem facing the Black community? I don't like the sentence, but it's fine. And the team that is saying yes, here they are. Team saying no, here they are. I will also put the link in the chat. Please go on and hit the reminder. Well, I'm gonna have to be there, right? Oh, we have a member, the Queens of Rant. Thank you so much for being a member. Let me try to zoom in so we can see your I can't zoom in on this. I'm sorry. So it's the Queens on a Rant. Thank you so much for becoming a member on this video. So we have this debate. Click the reminder when you go over to this channel. So I'm very excited. Uppity Unicorn is here. I think someone said Uppity Unicorn is here. Hey, Uppity Unicorn. I've been watching your channel, by the way, just FYI. Women of all races, but especially Black women, are socialized to think that we need to save our fixed, broken man. Yep, this is true. Thank you for this, Summer. Yeah, anywho, I look forward to seeing you guys soon. I look forward to seeing the debate. Yeah, that is it. Let me get larger to say bye. Bye, guys. I wanted to say something, but I will hold it for now. Actually, let's read something from Mudwater. I went into the book for a recipe, and I want to. So you have to get the sugar too, and the sugar is also expensive for no reason. But hear this: for the sweetener. This is the least bad sweetener money can buy. 2 parts coconut sugar, 1 part lucuma. What is lucuma? Only the gold of the Incas. To, to accentuate its butterscotch and caramel undertones, we read poetry. That's right. We read poetry to an antioxidant rich fruit. Once it's weak in the knees, we mill it at a low temperature. Then we introduce lucuma to its new best friend. Girl, what is this? What is this? Someone said they better sponsor you. They will not. They probably try to sue. What is this? I feel like this is a cult. I can't. I literally cannot. This is a mess. Anyway, please don't get this. If you get it, by the way, no. If you have mud water, by the way, please email me and let me know. Actually, you can send me a text on Instagram. I don't know where my Instagram is. Oh, there. And let me know, please let me know some recipe. Please let me know some recipes because I refuse to not finish my packs. I refuse. So yeah, Themis and Toast, what they read poetry, that's a sign of product not to buy. Mudwater is an alternative to coffee. I don't like the crash that coffee gives, but yeah. Any updates on post-traumatic? I'm assuming PTSS mean post-traumatic slave syndrome. So yeah, yeah, it also doesn't come with the jitter. Yeah, and I get jittery. Don't try to sell us on that theme. Let it go. Yo, I would be. Can you imagine if these people actually paid me to promote their product and then came back and saw this? Can you imagine that? Imagine someone, please do not send me something to promote. Please don't, because I'm the worst at it. Anywho. Have a wonderful day, guys. I will see you on Friday, and I think we have. Well, I am ready for the foolishness on Friday. So let's go. Have a wonderful day. Bye. Wait. They will make you an ambassador. Same. I hate the crash. Bye. Themis and Toast, as a last thought, remember that you too can look at anything that does not serve your life and stop finding a way to make it work. Just throw it out. I like that. Thank you. Thank you, Deanne. I appreciate that. I've been blocking people on here, by the way. I don't have time. I know people are like, oh, whatever. I don't deal with abusive language, so it's fine. I'm over it. Anyway, have a good one. Bye.